Hi, I want to continue today with the shoulder and neck stretches and strengthening exercises. They're going to be face up, but I also going to add the pelvis, the hip, into this mix today. So it's going to be like 10-15 minutes. I'll face up, no equipment needed. So the first exercise is that you lie down on your mat face up, and you're going to have your arms by your side. Press your heel, press the ball of the feet, and press the toes into the mat. And you're going to also make sure that your hips are down, your butt cheeks are down evenly. Your shoulders are also down evenly, and your spine is straight. You have a lumbar neutral, which is the low back area, you have some sort of space under your low back. We call this a mouse house. So a little mouse could run across easily. If you are in pain, if you have low back pain, you can also press your spine into the mat. Imagine that you squish that mouse or squish the blueberry, if that's like a nicer cue, visionary cue. Same thing with your neck. You want to keep your nose pointed upward. So if you notice that your nose is pointing backwards, just align it so it's pointing up completely. Arms by your side, shoulders down, spine is neutral. So the first exercise is that you are bringing your nose down to your sternum, which is your chest bone, the breastbone, without lifting your head. So you're just going to slide your nose down and slide it back up. Let's do 10 of this. Slide it down without lifting your head and slide it back up. And 3, slide it down. And 4, slide it back up. 5, slide it down and slide it back up. And pay attention to that. Try to keep your shoulders open. So if you notice that as you're curling your nose down, your shoulders are coming forward, try to keep that movement, preventing from happening. So slide your nose down without the shoulders coming forward and slide it back up. I think we have 2 left. Slide it down, prevent the shoulder from rolling forward and slide it back up. And one last one, slide it down, keep your chest open and slide it back up. The second exercise is that we are lifting our head up without moving our nose forward or back. So same idea, heels down, ball of the feet down, toes are down, both butt cheeks are down, shoulder is down, arms by your side, palms down, and you're going to just lift your head a tiny bit and put it back down. It's just imagine that someone is pulling you up and lower it back down. Lift up without moving your nose and putting it back down. That's 4 and lift and lower down. 5 and lift and lower down. Same thing, shoulders are staying down, butt staying down. Spine is not really moving, only the cervical spine and the head is the one that the head is lifting, and the cervical spine is the one that is doing the movement. Lift up, I'm not gonna counting, so let's do 2 more. Lower down, lift up, lower down, and last one, lift up and lower down. The third exercise, we're going to add the shoulders, the arms into this mix. You're going to have your arms out in front of you, shoulder blades, the scapula is down, palms facing each other, and you're going to push your fingers, your arms forward towards the ceiling and bringing it back down. You're going to push your arms forward and bringing it back down. And 3, push it forward and bringing it back in. You can also cue in the breath with it, so as you're pushing forward, exhale, and as you're bringing the arms down, inhale. Exhale, push forward, long exhale, Inhale as you bringing it down. Exhale. And inhale, bringing it down. And 2 more, exhale. The next exercise is that you keep your palms facing each other and you're just going to bring your arms overhead and bringing it back down towards your hips. Push your arms forward, bring it overhead. Imagine that you're making a rainbow shape. You're going to push your fingers forward and bring your arms down. And here too, the same principles, heels down, ball of the feet down, toes are down, spread out evenly, butt cheeks are down evenly, shoulders are down. And your spine is not really doing any movement, it's in space hold. It's only your arm bone and your shoulder blades are doing the movement. And if you notice that you have limited range of motion and if you have pain, let the tightness and the pain be your guide. And over time, the tissue will adjust, the tissue will loosen, and you will have a wider range of motion and hopefully also less pain. But if any of these exercises obviously are bothering you, just skip them or modify them to your needs. And if your pain persists, I suggest you seek help from your local Pilates instructor or physical therapist or doctor. Okay. The next exercise is you bring your arms out to the side. You're gonna have your palms up and you're just going to slide your palms down and up. Here too, let the pain and let the tightness be your guide. And if you can't slide your arms all the way up without lifting your arms, then just stay down, just limit the range of motion as needed. Inhale as you slide your arm up. And exhale as you bringing it back down. Just one more. Inhale, slide the arm up. Exhale, slide it back down. Next, same thing, but we are modifying it a little bit. You're gonna have your palm down, and you're going to slide your arms up while your palm is down. And when you're at 90-degree angle, you rotate your palm upwards and sliding it back up all the way. And sliding it back down with your palm up, and at 90-degree angle, you're gonna turn your palm down and slide your arms back down to your hips. And slide your arms out and up, and turn your palms up and up, and palm up, slide your arms down, turn your palms down, and bringing it back down. One more. Slide your arms up, turn your palms up, slide your arms down, turn your palms down, and arrive by your hips, Next exercise, you're gonna have your arms by your side, heels down, ball of the feet down, toes are spread, press your toes into the mat as well, butt cheeks are down evenly, shoulders down evenly, and you're going to combine these movements. So you're going to lift your head, and you're going to spiral forward, you're going to bring your nose towards your sternum, your chest bone, and just bringing it back down. Unfurl your spine. You're going to lift your head, curl forward, nose towards your chest bone, and unfurl your spine. Here too, if you have pain or limitation, let pain and tightness be your guide. And in 3-4 weeks, you should notice a big change in your pain level, hopefully, and in your range of motion. Unfurl your spine. And one more. Lift, curl forward, and unfurl your spine. For the next part, you're going to have your arms out in front of you. Push your fingers forward, your fingers towards the ceiling. You're going to lift your head and curl forward. And you're going to lower back down. You can also bring your arms overhead with you. Bring the arms back, push your fingers to the ceiling, lift your head, curl forward. And lower back down. Push the arms forward, bring it overhead like a little rainbow. Push your fingers forward, bring it all the way up to the ceiling, lift your head and curl forward. And lower back down. Arms come overhead. Push your fingers forward, lift your arms, lift your head, curl forward. And lower back down. Good. For the next part, we are going to add the pelvis, the hips, and mobilizing your low back area. So the goal here is the same, heels down, ball of the feet down, your toes are down, and the movement is only happening at the level of the hips. Your upper body is in space hold, nothing is moving above your rib cage. And the goal here is to mobilize your pelvis and your lumbar spine. So we are going to tilt our hips forward, creating a bigger mouse house. So like a New York City mouse can run across under our lumbar area. And then we come back to a neutral tilt. My earbud is falling out. And then we are pushing our low back into the mat. And hopefully each of our vertebrae are touching the mat. We're going to come back to neutral, creating a little space. And now tilting our hips or pelvis forward, creating a wider space. You may, in this time, you may feel stretches or even pain with this movement. So as usual, pain and tightness be your guide. Over time, the tightness should improve and pain should dissipate. Tilt the pelvis back. Push all your vertebrae into the mat. Come back to neutral. Tilt the pelvis forward. And here, what's happening that your legs are not moving, your upper body is not moving. So the movement is not happening by you creating space in your thoracic, in your mid-back area. But that isn't space hold, the movement is only happening at the hip level. Mobilizing the vertebrae in the lower spine area. Initially, this will be probably unfamiliar, but as you keep practicing, you will be able to move your pelvis forward and back, and with that, be mobilizing the lumbar area. The second part of this exercise is that you have your feet wide apart. You can also have your feet turned out. Same thing, upper body is stable, heels pressed in, ball of the feet pressed in, toes are pressed in. The legs are, the femur, the thigh bones are stable. You're rotating the pelvis over the leg bone. Tilt the pelvis back, coming into your posterior tilt, squishing that blueberry, coming into a neutral tilt, create a little mouse house. And tilt the pelvis forward, creating that big mouse house or mouse mansion. Come back to neutral, squish the blueberry, neutral tilt, mouse house or anterior tilt, neutral, posterior tilt or squishing that blueberry. Third part for this, knees together, feet apart, same thing, tilting the pelvis forward. Thigh bones are stable, upper body stable. The movement is happening at the lower lumbar segments and the pelvis. Anterior tilt, neutral tilt, posterior tilt, neutral, anterior, or mouse mention, neutral, mouse house, squishing the mouse or squishing the blueberry, neutral, big space, moderate space, no space. Last part, feet together, knees wide apart, and this is the hardest. With this, a lot of stretching happening in the inner thigh area, upper body stable, feet together, ball of the feet together, heels together, toes together, and same thing, no space, each of your lumbar, low back vertebrae touching the mat, creating a little space and creating big space under your low back. Minimal space, no space. Minimal, a lot of space. So a lot of stretching happening in the hip joint, inner thigh area, and hopefully your low back as well. So let's do 2 more of that. You can have your arms by your side, but I like to keep it on my, it's called the ASIS, these hip bones, so you can actually see what's happening if that bone is moving forward and back. This is called a pelvic tilt, or also call this as a pelvic clock. Another visual cue could be that this is a pelvic clock and we are tilting the pelvis into a 6 o'clock position and we're creating that big space, coming back into the interface of the clock and going into 12 o'clock in the posterior tilt, squishing that blueberry. Neutral, mouse house. 6 o'clock, mouse mention, anterior tilt, big space under. Neutral. Posterior tilt, 12 o'clock, squishing that blueberry. Okay, the next part is that we're just doing a stretch, a figure 4 stretch. You're going to bring your right leg over your left knee, and either you can keep it there if you feel a stretch in your hip, you can bring your knee towards that wall, or you can also grab it under. And just pay attention here to keep your spine as straight as possible. If you have limited range of motion and if you're tight, then you can have your head and shoulder lifted forward, or you can have your pelvis curled up as well. But ideally, you want to keep your spine straight in this one. You can also bring your shoulders down, so you're stretching your chest with it. And then switch side, cross the left over the right knee, pull it in, and with this I feel a stretch on my left butt area. Same thing here, nose is pointing upwards. You can also lift your right heel higher and then just play with the angle of the stretch. You feel it in different muscle fibers as you lower your leg down and lifting it back up. Good. So this was just a face up exercise to continue work on the neck, shoulder, and we also added the pelvic clock, the pelvic curl, to mobilize the spine and then just provide overall full body strength and length into our bodies. I'll see you next time.